Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hey, hi. Sorry,
It's day 5.
forgot my coffee. I did, however. Sorry, I took some notes over here. I thought I'd prepare those. Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Nice, thanks.
The top one's blank, so maybe. Yeah, there you go.
Some very serious stuff. Okay, welcome, everyone. We've got a lot to report on today.
Hot off the news presses. It's an industry term. You might not have heard that before.
So this is the Bathrobe Chronicles.
I'm Graham.
I'm Ashkahn. This is day 5.
Welcome.
Yep. We're still in our house.
Still in bathrobes.
Yep. The studio upgrade has not happened quite yet, but
Still doling out float advice. Let's just pull up our other computer notes here. Hold on, get these ones in order again. A lot to remember today.
yesterday we had a question from somebody who was in the process of opening, like they were supposed to have their grand opening, sometime in the next coming months, and they asked us what the heck they should do. So we thought that would be a good topic for today.
Which is a good question. Like, if you had invested all of this time and money into getting your float center running, which, we tell people all the time, and we know from firsthand experience, it's not easy, right? Like, it's really challenging getting a float center off the ground, and you're either just open or just nearing opening or like halfway through construction, and this whole COVID-19 thing hits. Like, what do you do? So it sucks. Like, I definitely feel for you guys. I'm sorry that you're going through that, first of all.
Yeah, for sure. It's a huge bummer, and that is, I guess, just part of the craziness of the world. So you're probably going to have to delay.
That's a huge bummer. Check
your opening. You're probably not. I mean, I don't imagine the timeline you had pictured is going to happen exactly how you had pictured it. I think is very likely. So that's unfortunate. But the good news is we came up with all sorts of stuff that you could do in the meantime. So don't even worry about it.
Yeah, and similarly, I guess, just if you did just recently open up, if you're newly opened, of course it probably means you just had to immediately shut back down, or you're likely to soon. So. Obviously everyone's kind of in different stages of this, so definitely just take the advice that works for you, and, for the advice that doesn't, hopefully something just kind of spurs some ideas in your head too for other things you might be needing to work on, or people you should talk to. Speaking of which, there's like a lot of people you should probably check in with and be having conversations with, and a lot of these too you're probably already right on top of, and you've probably already made a lot of these phone calls, but again, we just thought we'd kind of go through the most important ones just to make sure that you're not missing out on anything in your own mind.
Yeah, you should probably, if you have, a lease and everything, which I imagine if you had a kind of opening date you do, you should probably talk to your landlord. A lot of people have pre-negotiated things like a couple months of free rent, or, something along the lines of helping you on your timeline to opening. And obviously this is something that may affect that. It's possible that you could get some more leniency there and actually get a couple more free months, or just realize that everything is being delayed, and be able to have this not kind of hurt you financially in terms of having to pay rent on the same timeline, but not being able to open your center.
Lenders and investors, pretty much immediately, if you got a bank loan, if you had someone who obviously invested a lot in your business, just keep them posted. And I'd say more than anything too, ask them for advice. People are handling this, especially if they're, a big bank or someone who invests in business as a regular part of their day-to-day operations. They're right on top of this stuff, and they have to communicate with a lot of people. And they're also hearing what's working and what's not coming in from a bunch of different sources right now. So use them as assets, don't just kind of keep them posted on your own ideas, but really check in and probably keep those open lines of communication just to see if they have any good advice for you, or, again, what's working on the front lines that they're kind of witnessing firsthand.
It's also possible you had some staff lined up, or even starting to work for you already, various managers or something like that. If you haven't yet, this is a good time to have a conversation with those people. Depends on you what you're going to do. It may be that you don't actually have work for them, or this is going to be a much longer process than you had anticipated, and you can, talk to them about them finding other work for the moment, or and it's just something you need to make a game plan for.
Yeah, and it's so uncertain right now, of course, with just everything. I guess just, already having staff at Float On, our mind is always on taking care of them and figuring out how to make sure that, like, they're okay and, we're being open and communicative. So even before you bring them on, yeah, that still just applies. These are just other human beings who, likewise, had kind of their futures hinged on what you were doing. So, yeah, just, again, making sure to be open and communicative with them is great.
Okay, the good news now. So there are plenty of things that you can be doing while you're closed. I mean, in some ways, it's kind of like insane opening up a small business, and in the middle of it, to even have a chance to like pause for a moment and like do a bunch of stuff that you like have realized that you should have been doing but didn't have time for. There is an opportunity to be able to actually kind of take advantage of the fact that your timeline is slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any float center that ever finishes their build out without a list of like 100 things they totally thought they would have gotten done by the time they opened or didn't realize they had to do, and it's like this slow ramping up process to actually being fully fledged when you're open. So this extra buffer of being closed, again, even though it sucks, hopefully gives you a little more of that ramp up period where you can start cranking through those extra 100 tasks you need to get done.
And a lot of this is going to revolve around either trying to make sure that when you do actually launch, you can have as many people coming in right away as possible, like try to build up that sort of pressure so that once you actually open, you can be there to service it. And also some opportunities to actually maybe even start bringing in money. A lot of float centers before they open will do things like run pre-sale gift cards or even memberships or some good deal that allows people to kind of participate and support them and get probably like a screaming deal on floats that they wouldn't get otherwise because they are hopping in way early and there's no actual deadline for when they can use them yet. So depending on kind of where you're at in your process and how comfortable you feel with it, you could actually start considering selling things like pre-sale floats or gift cards or even some sort of like early membership special.
Yeah, and it's great too, again, we've talked about it on some of the other Bathrobe episodes that we've done over the last week, but there is this movement towards supporting small business. Like, people realize that it's not easy on businesses. And if anything, I've been seeing more articles coming out recently just kind of pulling back the curtain on how little finances the average small business, like brick and mortar shop, has, which, as a small business owner, is kind of nice. It's like most of these places don't have more than a couple months of revenue saved up,
It's like 7 hours of financial timeline. That's it. Like, if you're closed for half a day, like, it's basically...
Yeah, game over, right? And again, people are becoming more aware of that, and even though you're not even open yet, I'm sure that there are people who are already excited about having another float center in your area and who would be willing to support you and what you're doing by, grabbing memberships, grabbing gift cards, sharing those around, getting their own audience and friends to help support you too. So again, it's probably not going to be a huge source of revenue, right? This isn't going to be the same as if you were actually open and running floats, but now's not the time to turn down a few $1,000s here and there. And it's doubling down too. Like, all of this investment that you do in just even selling a handful of floats is that many more people who are invested in your opening and excited about it. And it's not just money you have coming in. It's getting people in the tanks when you first open. It's the marketing of word of mouth of people saying, hey, I bought this thing. I'm trying to support this small business, and sharing the idea of floating with others. So, there's a lot of things that these early pre-opening sales can get accomplished. And again, as long as you're going to be in pre-opening for a little bit longer, you might as well take advantage of them.
There's also a lot of things that you can work on from your house in pajamas. So
if it's snowing, you can do kind of snow, like float tank sculptures
in your house, because that would be pretty.
Well, from here you can bring it in.
You can bring snow.
You're allowed to bring in snow. I haven't seen any advisements that you can't bring snow inside.
As long as the snow is just from your own yard, so it hasn't been interacted with.
And float tanks are like solid white. Like, you can make a pretty realistic float tank replica in your house, do a nice photo shoot, bam. We'll call that idea one.
Yeah, so once you're done with that, there's a bunch of just like actual marketing stuff that I think kind of like gets left by the wayside when people are so focused on construction and just everything else that the logistics of opening up. So now's a good opportunity to kind of actually really flesh that stuff out. Yeah, I mean, you'd have your website, like take a chance to...
Do you have a website?
Yeah, I guess you should get a website.
If you don't have one, yeah.
And if you do have one, like, add to it. Add more pages.
Make it better.
Add, like, different, make sure you actually have it boned up around and you have a nice About Us page and you have different pages explaining your float tanks and, what floating is and your frequently asked questions. It's a good chance to really flesh that site out.
For sure. And same for just general marketing materials, right? At some point you actually will be reopening. At some point you're going to be trying to reel in floaters. And just trying to get all of your messaging done ahead of time so you're ready for when that moment comes. So obviously we don't know exactly what the situation's going to be or how many weeks or months from now it's going to be before you finally open your doors. But you can sort of pre-write templates for emails. You can grab images. You can pre-prepare, a week or two of social media posts. Just make sure, because once those customers do start coming through your doors, or start coming through your doors again, you're going to be busy with a bunch of stuff, and now's a great time to stock up on all of that marketing collateral. So you pretty much just have to copy-paste, push a button once you're open, and you're all set for, again, even that like leading up to opening and the first week or two afterwards. It's great to just get locked and loaded.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of like actually writing emails, creating images, social media, you can even put a PR packet together. I mean, this is a good time to actually just be able to do even bigger things like that, so that you have some really hefty stuff to launch with when you're open. And
that's a good. We should do a PR episode of these Bathrobe Chronicles too, and talk about actually reaching out to the press during these times. It's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. If you slip in anything about coronavirus right now, it should get printed, I'm pretty sure. The other thing is that's like could be a silver lining in this is if you were partway through construction, have to put a pause on things, or if you haven't started your construction yet, take this as an opportunity to plan and learn more about that. Like, it is a crazy process, and nobody makes it through it feeling like they were 100% on top of it and knew what was going on the entire time. So like, there's a lot to learn. There's a huge amount to wrap your head around for construction, and the more you can be informed and planned out, kind of the better it's going to go. And these are things that can save you, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars down the line. So, take this opportunity to boost your education on that. We have a lot of previous podcast episodes with our Daily Solutions podcast where we talk about construction stuff, blog posts. We have an entire construction packet on our Floating Solutions site. Like, there's a ton of information out there, and a lot of reading and a lot of listening to learn more about it.
Yeah, an easy way to grab all the podcast episodes. You can always go to our blog/podcast area and do a little search. Or if you just find us on YouTube, look up Floating Solutions. There's a whole playlist there for construction. There's another playlist for marketing, which might give you some good marketing ideas to play around with too. But yeah, again, definitely go peruse. Of course, we do sell this fully fledged giant construction packet and construction consulting. But yeah, at this point, definitely check out the free resources and just see if you have any questions from there. But, we're always around to help.
And they say when you're working at home too, still put on your construction clothes and really put yourself in that place. It's going to be more productive than just trying to do it from your pajamas.
Says the guy in giant fluffy bathrobe.
And good luck. I mean, yeah, this is definitely crazy, and will be at the very least a wild story to tell when you're well into your years of running a float center, and you can tell younger, whippersnapper float center prospective owners are like, oh, well, I opened back when. So you'll have that going for you.
And having opened in 2010, which was kind of in the midst of this big recession as well, I will say that if you make it through this and get open and get your customers coming in, you will actually be stronger for it. Learning to actually start your business in a very difficult time. Again, if you can make it past this first unexpected large hurdle, it does a lot for the stability of your business, and just making you realize, even when you have a night of 3 pump leaks, you're like, okay, I'm used to tough times. It's like that mental fortitude. So, what does he say in Calvin and Hobbes? The father builds character. You're going to get a lot of character points as a result of this one. Yeah.
All right.
And if you haven't already, we're releasing these Helm tips and tricks of the day, along with doing our podcast series, or not podcast, live stream We're doing a live stream, Ashkahn.
Yeah. Oh.
Get it right next time.
All right.
So in addition
messed
to
up
our
a long
Robe
time.
live stream series, we're releasing a nice helm tip of the day, which just kind of goes over some areas of the helm that you can either refine or set up better, or even things that might help you during this period while you're closed to sell extra gift cards or launch cool discount specials, things like that. So just launched a new one. Check it out. It's on Google Analytics. Highly recommended. The 2 out of 2 of these live stream hosts recommended.
Make some popcorn, sit down, check it out.
Yeah. And should we head over to the live feed here, see what we got going on?
Yeah, I mean, mostly people saying hello, right?
Oh, nice, yeah. Tammy, great. Says she does have a website. Would love for us to give it a look-see. Totally look at your website, yeah. Send it over. Yeah, we'll look at it.
All right, well, we're just doing these on weekdays, so that's it for us for the week. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you on the other side.
These are available afterwards, too, so you can just go
Make some
listen to
popcorn.
them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Watch them again on the weekend. Do kind of a marathon.
But, I mean, yeah, people should know if they're watching this, you know?
That they record. Well, what about the people watching live?
I think they understand how computers work.
You understand how computers work, of course. All right, everyone. See you next week. Thanks.